Your channel to me feels like Burnham and Ryan Trahan had a baby, and here it is.
Wow. Why do you say that?
What is happening right now?
I've always wondered why this is here.
That was wild.
Maybe I'll just do it one more time.
What's the job of being a YouTuber?
Title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds.
Do you honestly like this?
I'm comfortable looking dumb.
Carry on.
There's no real reason you need to do any of the things you're doing. Today on the Colin and Samir Show, we're joined by Preston Summerow, aka PrestonGoes. Preston has just about 600,000 subscribers, and it's only been this past year that his videos have exploded. He's multi-talented, hyper-relatable, and has an extremely unique style. In this episode, we peel back the curtain on what it takes to break out on YouTube. We also talk to Preston about what he's learned from his biggest mistakes and how he's turning his passion for creating into a career. Now, throughout the conversation, we landed on some great motivational sayings that we decided to turn into posters. And just like with every other creative idea that we've had over the past 10 years that we want to turn into a product and sell it, we turn to the sponsor of this episode, Shopify. Since we started working together, Colin and I have always been really into pairing digital content with physical products. And when we first started this YouTube channel, we actually launched a skateboard brand called Boardies and chronicled the whole journey. We used Shopify to set up that store, as well as every other store we've launched in our journey. Shopify is extremely easy to use. It's fully customizable. You can make your store look amazing through their paid and free themes. Adding a new product is as simple as taking a new photo, generating a description, price, and then pressing publish. And that process has gotten even easier and more premium with Shopify Magic. Shopify Magic uses AI to help you generate product descriptions with a click of a button. And one of the coolest features of Shopify Magic is the background removal tool. So this press publish hat in our store, we can make that look way more aesthetic. Or our Publish Press newspaper. You can actually put that down on a coffee table. Or our new motivational posters. We can help you imagine those in your bedroom. And once your product is live, you can connect your store to all of your social accounts, including YouTube. So our products are actually selling right under this video right now. So if you have a creative idea for a product or you want to explore what it's like to launch a Shopify store, we have a free trial linked in our description. Just go to shopify.com/Colin and Samir and get started today. Preston, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I think if I could buy stock in any YouTuber right now, it would be you.
I think you will have 10 times the amount of subscribers a year from now.
Wow, that's a huge compliment. Why do you say that?
So there's a couple of reasons. I mean, first and foremost is like your storytelling ability, right?
Okay.
Like that's like you have an unparalleled ability to tell a story.
Okay.
And I think that like when I watch your videos, your edits, your rhythm, your pacing, your voiceover, it all kind of adds up in this way that's just like, for me as a 34-year-old adult man who's committed his life to this platform, you make the types of videos that I enjoy watching on YouTube, that I've always enjoyed watching, where it's like a single host going through an experience and able to bring me through the twists and turns of that.
Wow.
But when you add the layer of your music into it, your original music, it's like this B storyline that's always going through your videos that you never know when an original song is about to hit. Feels like an inside joke. It feels like you're in on something.
Right.
And the reason I say I would buy stock in you though, is because I know you can do it all yourself. And that is like, when you think about the ingredients that make up a good YouTuber, it's all those things plus the fact that you're filming and editing yourself. And I think that's almost that's getting to be a lost art on YouTube, which seems crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
But it's getting to be a lost art, but it is the most timeless version of being a YouTube creator.
Wow.
Yeah, your channel to me feels like if Burnham and Ryan Trahan paired up to tell visual stories, right? Like you have the ability to act, to sing, you're funny, you're delightful, you can edit, it's lo-fi. That to me is like a perfect encapsulation of what your channel is. Like Burnham and Ryan Trahan had a baby, and here it is. And it kind of looks like it.
It's me, hey.
Yeah.
I'm the child.
How are you feeling right now in your YouTube journey, and where are you in your journey as a YouTube creator?
I was talking to a buddy the other day, and I said it almost feels like that feeling of trying to start a YouTube channel feels like you are plopped on an island, and you have to make fire with no tools. And that has been like a painful process of, that feeling of putting so much effort into something and not seeing a return. But to answer the question, I think it feels like I'm transitioning from this like survival start a fire mindset to, oh wait, there's a fire now. And I just have to like believe that it's actually there or something. Even for me to come here today is like so exciting and mind blowing to me. And it's forcing me to like look at the fire and be like, okay, I think it's starting to work and like coming to like believe that. So yeah,
I can relate to that, like to a T. Incredible. Like that is that's something I think there's times where I still deal with that. You know, I think it's gotten, I believe more now that the fire is there and that I can actually walk away for a little bit and it won't go out. But I think that's the fear in the beginning where it's like, I have to tend to this fire at every minute, otherwise it'll go out.
Yes.
Yeah, and right now, like your viewership is 500,000 views in a good amount of time. It's 1 million, it's 3 million sometimes. But 5 months ago, you have videos where it's 40,000.
Yes.
Because it is a real reality. Like, yes, you have a fire going right now, but you're not that far into your journey.
Right.
You know, you never know when you're going to put out a video where you're like, oof.
Totally.
That's what was happening 4 months ago.
And that video 4 months ago, I assume you're talking about the one where I made songs of the 1-star reviews.
Yes.
I turned 1-star Yelp reviews into songs and like hard 10 out of 10. And it was basically right after the channel had started going. So it was very confusing. It's like, wait, I thought I was doing what was required for the channel to keep going. It felt like it kind of fit in the format that I was starting to build out. And yeah, just like really challenging to deal with that. And then probably makes that whole fire analogy feel more real of like, wait, I don't know if I can trust what's happening. But in the past 4 months, it has become a little more consistent and views have been more consistent, which is just like the craziest feeling, dude. It just feels like such a blessing that it's working at all.
What do you think some of those ingredients are that have made it work? Like what is your viewpoint on how you make a Preston Goes video?
Well, now it almost feels like there are a few different formats that have proven themselves on my channel. So there's a building format. So I explained it to my dad recently that I almost look at myself as an average Joe inventor. Like I shouldn't be the guy to make the thing. So you're either going to watch me crash and burn while trying or somehow pull out like an underdog story and actually succeed at the unnecessary mission of the video.
I mean, I'm amazed when I see that you've learned to weld and when you're cutting metal and there's sparks flying. And,
Dude. Same.
Doesn't feel safe. Yeah, you know,
It doesn't.
I put myself in your shoes. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel
I'm
safe.
hiring out. Yeah.
I've welded like a lot of stuff.
Now
It's
you're in-
crazy.
You have welded a lot of things. Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And my confidence in welding has increased dramatically. My confidence in making music has started to increase, but in the beginning it was not.
Wait. You weren't making original music before this YouTube channel?
I was not. No.
That's crazy.
What?
I grew up playing the piano.
Okay.
So there was some level of I know chords.
Yeah.
I know chords, but that's about it. I can't read music.
Wow, that's crazy. That to me feels like one of your major differentiators. And like when I'm watching a Preston Goes video, that is the thing I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for. You know, like I want to see how the story pans out. But similar to Ryan Trahan, I would say that in some respects it matters what you're doing, but in some it doesn't.
Right.
Like I'm kind of open to just watching you go through an interesting experience, especially if you are building something.
Right.
Because there's like multiple storylines happening,
Yes,
right? Like the
yes.
thing is going from not existing to existing. Jetpacks is a great version of this where it's like, here's an idea you had, it doesn't exist yet. Already that's a great setup for a story, right? Because now there's a conflict.
Right.
Here's this underdog, David and Goliath, right? Goliath is like this engineering problem. He's not an engineer. So now he has to solve these things. And then you're like testing it in your bathtub and it's like this funny thing. But the songs, when the songs come up, that's when I'm like, this is different.
Right.
What's a jam nut?
Jam nuts. Making metal cuts,
That is the thing that then pulls me into the world of Preston and goes, okay, I'll watch Preston do anything.
Interesting.
And that again is that unique factor.
I use the music for moments that may not need a song, or write a song about something that doesn't necessarily need one. Which reminds me.
Oh my gosh.
Where is this coming from?
Look at this color paper, now look at this roll of tape. Wow. Look at this tiny hammer, there's nothing here by mistake. But there's something here you can't ignore. If you've ever watched the show before, it's almost become a bit of lore. Or could also be a song we adore.
What is happening right now?
We need words to fill this part all the more because when we film interviews, it looks too empty. We don't want all subscribers to think that we don't have important things to say that would fill the book. That would fillable. We need words to fill this part all the more because when we film interviews, it looks too empty. We don't want all subscribers to think that we don't have important things to say that would fillable. That would fillable.
Right.
Yeah. So as we were saying,
What just happened?
Wait.
Where did the speaker come from?
I don't know. And the fact that everyone else in the room knew what was happening. And we
You guys
didn't-
actually didn't know that was gonna happen?
No, I had no idea.
not at all.
Yeah. When Tyga walked in the room, I was like,
Who
oh,
pressed
this
play
is...
on it?
Maryland.
Also, yeah,
That was fantastic.
that was so good.
Yeah.
And I love that you made fun of our hammer.
Yeah.
I've
Because
always
it's-
wondered
because it's-
why this is here.
I think it looks like baby's first toolkit or something. Like, you know, like IKEA, how you get like the fake little drill. That's what this hammer is basically. It's like, do we actually use that hammer?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's a beautiful, tiny
It's a
hammer.
great hammer.
It's a great hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
also-
it's embarrassing. It's
It
like,
doesn't
will you
really
put
make
it-
sense.
it
Will you
doesn't
put
make
it back
sense.
where it goes, please?
I would like to keep it here.
yeah, I don't want to lose it in case I need a hammer.
Yeah.
I also brought this little pointer.
That
with
was really funny. That was crazy. Very unexpected and very
Okay.
fantastic. But what's crazy is we just lived through one of your videos. How great it is where you don't know when
I
a song's
was so
going to hit.
nervous for that, by the way. I've been thinking about, like, I'm practicing the lyrics. I just, like,
That was
lip-sync
crazy,
them.
yeah.
Okay.
Look at these
Oh, I'm so
rolls of
relieved.
paper.
I can't believe you just did this live performance.
Wow, great.
Okay. Wow.
I don't even know where we go from there. Let's see.
Yeah, AdSense.
What I was saying was, like, writing songs for moments or things like this beautiful piece of art.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily need a song. There's just something about that is just so weird and ironic, and I just love it. I've also been listening to Despacito
Sure.
recently.
Like
Yeah.
just the Justin Bieber song?
Yeah, why not?
Great song.
Okay.
And that kind of inspired the reggaeton
Got it.
vibe.
Oh, okay. I
Nice.
thought that was good. I thought you were saying that was like inspiring your life and your
Oh,
career.
no, just that
Yeah,
song
just that song.
specifically.
Okay. So everything in that song is original, from the beat to like everything.
I use samples.
Okay.
That is definitely a huge help for me. Since I'm not like very musically inclined, I can. So that was me like downloading a bunch of like 4-second samples.
Crazy.
But then building like a bass line underneath it and like putting my drums underneath it and singing a melody on top of it. So
Crazy.
And how much time does that take you? Like that?
that one took like 6 hours.
Wow.
Damn.
It probably didn't need to take 6 hours. Yeah. If I was like trying to run through it, I think I had a general concept for the melody and the lyrics in maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. But then I get so excited.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, oh my
yeah.
gosh. And then what if I like say, what if I just get up and like point at the colored paper and then point at the roll of tape. And then I went into this whole thing and I got so excited. It like completely derailed my work that I was supposed to be doing, but it was way
unbelievable.
more fun.
You know, though, that is something that I would say, like when we were at your position, when things were starting to work on the channel, that feeling of like keeping the fire alive, I think instilled so much fear that I think you could actually see it on us while we were creating. Like I think our videos were riddled with like, they reeked of fear. And I think, and when I'm watching your videos, the thing that's really nice is they don't at all.
Fear.
They feel very playful and like that you actually love the creative.
Yes.
And I think that's such an important, that's again why, like back to the first thing I said, like why I would buy stock in your channel or you as a creator is like, you enjoy it. You enjoy it in a way that comes across on camera. And that's like, I don't know. I feel like as YouTube has become more and more of a realistic career path, that enjoyment is harder to find in channels.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, you actually love making videos.
Love it.
Yeah, there's a line in your Tesla video where you rent a Tesla for a day off Turo. And it's in the beginning and you're like, and you may be wondering, why am I doing this? And then it just cuts to you with an air mattress in the back of the Tesla Cybertruck. And you're like, I just want to, because I just think this will be fun. And as an audience member, you're like, oh, cool. That's all I need. Because that explains to me why I'm watching you, right? Like I'm not here for some bigger purpose. I may get a little bit of it through your journey, but I'm actually just here for fun.
Yeah.
To like take the load off and enjoy it.
How do you, yeah, go ahead.
It's funny for me, it has taken a long time to feel like I can make a video with the mission of, oh, I just want to do that.
Yeah.
There's something about YouTube, man, like we've been fed so much like crap over the years that I just think as like viewers, we know when we're being fed something that is like forced or a lie, or I think our meter for that, like we're very sensitive. So when you see someone doing something like that they actually want to do, it's like, wait, there's not some like weird retention hack to this mission. It's like, it's true. Like, oh, it is refreshing. So for me, I've been trying to do that from like an honest place, not from like a manipulative place of like, oh, I have to make this thing,
Sure.
But from like an honest place of like, oh yeah, like what do I want to do? And a lot of it has come from just like almost like a childhood place of like, sometimes I feel like I am like a grown-up kid that has money now that I can like, I can do these things now, and like thinking about what kind of scratches that itch in my brain of things I've always wanted to do. So like, so that's kind of where all the ideas come from. There's just this long list of like, oh, that would be so sick.
I think what's so integral to you and your success in your videos is that you go after these things you want to do, and it's totally okay if you fail. Like in the Go-Kart video, the first one.
Yes.
When you're going through this crazy journey, you build a Go-Kart that you're going to use on these old tracks through the desert to go see this bridge you've always wanted to see from like the 1900s, like early 1900s, something like that. And in the end of the first video, spoiler alert, not to give it away, you fail.
We didn't make it.
You didn't make it. And that is so real. And even in the second video, if the same story were to happen again, I honestly wouldn't care because like I'm here for the try and I believe that you want to get there.
Yes.
Right. And the try is what's interesting. And there's a lot of YouTube channels we've seen over the years where like there has to be the perfect ending that you see, that you expect to see in the title and thumbnail.
Right.
And I think what's refreshing about you is that that's not the case. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's definitely something that I'm learning. I don't think that is just like a natural thing that I always knew, like, oh, videos can end with a huge loss. But it's been crazy, even just like reading the comments of that video specifically. All these people are like, dude, this is crazy. You have to make it. You have to make it to the bridge. You got to go back. And like rooting for me to like see this dumb bridge. Like, why are people excited about that?
I think that's something we've also maybe forgotten about on YouTube is the fact that a YouTube channel is like an ongoing series. And I think we've all looked at videos in isolation, right? Like, here's this video. It starts here and it ends here. Whereas actually the story is continuing through the channel.
Totally.
And it's what we loved about Casey's daily vlog, right? Like it was a story that just continued every day.
Yeah.
And that was super interesting. 100%. That video to video, it continued. And I think that's maybe gotten a bit lost. That's like, wait, no, the story can just continue through the channel.
Yeah. I'm still trying to solve like where your ideas come from, because there was a video I watched of yours. I think it was probably the first one where I was like, I'm in. Okay. So when you fly to the Denver airport to outrun something. What were you outrunning? Okay, so if you're familiar with Strava is like a running app thing. For some reason, they have segments, and you can race people on like public segments. So like outside of your office could be a 1 mile segment that people can publicly compete on. And someone was talking to me about it. And like, man, have you heard about the segment that is inside the Denver airport? I'm like, what do you mean? They went on to explain how, I guess, someone was running from one gate to another, and he knew he had to make the flight, so he turned on Strava and just cooked from one gate to the next, and then somehow became this thing that people were competing on. So I love that stuff. It's like so weird and specific, and kind of in light of the whole building format, I thought it would be funny to maybe try and build something that could basically make me beat everybody. So essentially, I built a suitcase go-kart was the idea. I put like a longboard motorized wheel system inside the suitcase. Had no idea, like for real, had no idea if I could like travel with it. There was like an extended like Razor scooter wheel, and I would like sit on the suitcase, and that sucker flew. Like it was really, really fast. And got to the airport and competed in this segment. I brought like
the helmet was so good.
Glasses. Yeah. And I was probably more nervous for that video than a lot of them, because it was very like public. Like imagine going 30 miles per hour in a public airport on this thing that you built. It's just like,
I mean, I don't have to imagine it. I watched you do it. And I watched people get upset with you. The best part is like you're very good at the misdirection, right? The kind of like you think the video is going this way, and then it just hard pivots the other way. And at the end of that video, there's a moment where you're hanging it up because security is like, you can't do this anymore. You just can't.
Security told me to stop, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right after this one.
And then it just hard pivots to you doing it one more time. And it is so funny. It is such a good moment.
It was actually like a real bummer, because throughout the journey, there were a bunch of like travelers that were high-fiving me.
Yeah.
Like I would tell people what I'm doing, like, that's awesome. Keep going, go. And then the security guy comes up to me, and I felt bad. Like I don't want to be this menace nuisance. And, but I did fly from LA to Denver for this specifically. And in my head, I'm just like, maybe I'll just do it one more time. And I do it one more time, and went pretty fast. Didn't break the record, which I have no idea how.
What is the process of writing the beginning of that video? What's the process of like, how am I going to get 500,000 to 1 million to maybe 3 million people to buy in?
Yeah.
Because those first 30 to 45 seconds
important.
are so important. Like once you've earned their click, you then have to get them to buy in.
Yes. I think explaining why, and we kind of know this structure, but it's like why you want to do it, why maybe it shouldn't work. I think really clarifying stakes, and we talk like that's talked about so much in the YouTube sphere, but just in storytelling in general, understanding what is up against the hero before he sets out on his journey makes you decide if you want to root for him or not. It's like big, crazy stakes, or just like simple stakes that actually do feel like some sort of adversity, I think are so important for an intro. And recently me explaining like why I want to do something, or you seeing it on my face and believing, oh, well, I guess he does actually want to do that.
And I think also if you say it in like the thing I don't want to completely bypass here is that you're really good at voiceover.
Oh, thank you.
I actually think that matters a lot.
Why-
I just
why
think
specifically? Like,
It doesn't sound scripted.
it doesn't sound
Oh,
scripted.
interesting.
It doesn't sound like you're reading a script. It sounds like you're
Just talking
to us in
Okay.
like a very, like the same way you're talking to us right now.
Yes.
And I think that is learning how to do that or just being naturally good at it is also what makes it believable.
Very
Because
interesting.
it doesn't sound like you're performing.
It definitely took a second though.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's recorded a voiceover knows that feeling
Sure.
of listening to it back and be like, why do I sound so
Yeah.
weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I decided, okay, I'm gonna script it out. Like it's all scripted.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna imagine my friend is looking at me and I'm telling them the story.
Mm.
And that alone has just been like a huge game changer for me. Cause it's like a level of acting.
Sure.
But just imagining my friends looking at me and I'm talking to them has helped the voiceover thing a lot. But I love knowing that it's translated.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
How did you get to the point where you were 29, 30 years old and you were at a place in your life where you felt, I have to become a YouTuber to be successful?
Good question. So 29 was when I started, at least on this journey. I had uploaded videos over the years, but 29 was like, okay, there's something about 30. There's something about 30s coming. You look at your life, you're like, oh my gosh, the next decade.
Yeah.
Where am I headed?
Yeah.
And
I think it's just a quick,
Yeah,
because I had
yeah.
the exact same feeling.
Yes.
I think it's because you just went through the first adult decade of 20 to 30 and you recognize how quick it went.
Yes.
And then 30 means 40. You're like,
Yeah.
so that means 40 is going to come as quickly as 30 came. So if I'm not doing the thing I want to be doing,
yes.
I'm going to be 40. So I better start doing that thing.
Yes. Like if there's ever a time to pick, it should be
It's
now.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that's why I think 30 feels like the moment. Yeah.
Big time. And my wife and I, we lived in Atlanta and decided that we were going to move from Atlanta to LA, mostly because we've grown up there and the thought of leaving home and living somewhere else was so exciting. At the time, I was a freelance video guy. So I was making all types of videos, but at that season when we moved, I was doing like the corporate video. So like sit down interview, 2 cameras, key light. They're sharing about this business that's like, okay, whatever. Drone flies away, logo, like that video. I made the video many times. And when I was living in Atlanta, I was roommates with Eric Decker, also known as Eric. Eric.
Yeah.
Like that. And we were roommates in like 2018. And I remember him coming into, so we had like this big house. It was almost like a frat house for guys in their mid-20s living in Atlanta. Comes into my room and he's like, dude, I think I want to do YouTube. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean? And over the next few years, I watch my super close friend and roommate just like skyrocket.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's in my ear, like, dude, this is possible. You should try. Like, you've got the chops, you should try. And if I'm being real, I think there's a part of me that was like, it was challenging watching such a close friend succeed so well.
Yeah.
And like, and me knowing secretly, like, I also want to be a YouTuber. And like, I was kind of embarrassed of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be crazy for all of my friends to see once Eric has started, for like me to say, I want to do that too. And then what if I failed? And like all of those thoughts that come and actually stop a dream from, going to the next level. So the move from Atlanta to LA, there's just something about getting to a new place. The hope was we get here and my wife is a super talented painter, like abstract paintings, just beautiful stuff. And I was doing freelance video and the idea was get to LA, creative ceiling for our creative careers is just higher here.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. And getting to a place you don't know anyone. Eric was here. We had some other friends here, but there's just something about all our friends and family being back home and getting to a new place and about to turn 30. And all of the things led to me being like, man, if there's ever a time, it's probably now. I think I'm going to start. So that first video was May of 2022. Here is the plan. 30 videos before my 30th birthday with a subscriber goal of 100,000. And then I began, and it's just been such an emotional roller coaster, dude. It's like, like so painful, just painful, dude. Like wanting something and like putting effort and creative effort into something that like isn't giving you the return that you're trying to get and that you can see in the future coming from it. So for all of this to be happening now, it's just like, I'm just so grateful, dude. Like I'm so grateful. And to be here with you guys, like right now, like this is so crazy.
Let's go back though to starting to upload.
Okay.
Like did some of that emotion come up of like the what you were scared of, like the embarrassment from your friends of like you're starting out and Eric's like, already exploding? Like, did any of that come up, or was it helpful that you were gone from Atlanta so you actually got to be on your own little island?
I think there was something helpful in that. There was something helpful in, I almost felt like I left my like tribe and went to the jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I'll come back once I've got food for dinner.
Yeah. I actually think you have to, as a creative, get into a very safe space where you aren't going to be judged, or you don't feel judged. Even if you aren't being judged, you have to get away from the feeling of I'm being judged.
Big time.
Because you have to create very freely where you just like don't care.
Yeah.
You're like, it's okay.
Totally.
This video didn't do well, but I liked it and I'm learning. Cause like all this stuff, I had a friend recently call me and wanting to start a podcast. And I was like, do you have 5 to 10 years? Dude. Do you love it enough to give it 5 to 10 years?
That's it.
Because I like, and we say this quite a bit, but like there was years and years and years of our creative journey where we loved YouTube and it didn't love us back. And it's possible it'll never love you back. But if you keep loving it, if you keep loving the process, you have a shot.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to look at, a creator or a creative and go, do you honestly like this? Because the validation might never come.
Yeah.
It might never come,
I feel like I've had to learn so much about my relationship with failure.
Yeah.
Colin actually wrote something that has impacted me very, very deeply around this.
And you wrote a song about it. It just starts again.
Where I will be playing the role of Colin.
Also known as Tony Hawk. Yeah. No, it was an episode you guys did, I think like a year or two ago. And you defined what you called the creator mindset. And I printed this out and put it on my corkboard, and it has been up there ever since. And honestly has been a North Star for me. If I remember correctly, the creator mindset is evolving through output and humility. Failure is not embarrassing. It is not a roadblock. It is the road.
Yeah, it is the road.
Dude. I mean,
wow.
Let's give it up for Colin. The right guy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Dude. And
that's
honestly,
so cool, man.
Dude, it has been on my wall ever since that episode aired. I think it was like the KSI episode.
Yeah, you're right.
And dude, that I think
I'm imagining like a motivational poster. I'm sorry to cut you off right there, but with like a cat jumping for something that it really wants and with that underneath.
With that quote.
Yeah, maybe we can put that together.
Let's put it together.
Yeah.
For you to say though that it is the road is so dramatic and awesome.
Yeah, that is dramatic.
It is so it's
dramatic.
Not a roadblock.
Yeah. It is the road.
So good.
So good.
And in the episode, I rewatched it before coming on here because I was like, oh, I'd love to like share how much that's impacted me.
That's awesome.
And you were like, You're like, I actually wrote this. And then you were like, you wrote that? And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. But yeah, I think anyone doing anything creative can be so impacted by that because you have to form a relationship with failure and to know that like, no, yeah, it's not embarrassing. It's not a roadblock. It is the road that you have to walk. So when you make another video that bombs, like with that mindset, you can be like, oh, well, I guess this is what is required
Yes.
for me to get to the next thing.
Yes.
But there's nothing natural about the creator mindset. Nothing.
Yeah, and it's difficult to understand that before you've found a little bit of footing and success,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
it's very hard to come up with that. I'm not writing that 4 years ago, right?
You only write that from experience.
Because for me, 4 years ago, the roadblock is the time to turn around. Like that's just
see ya.
it's just what it is.
100%.
Yeah.
I will say though, we just spent some time with one of our good friends, Paul Rabel, who just wrote a book called The Way of the Champion. And he was sharing with us, Bill Belichick wrote the foreword of that book.
Wow.
And he was sharing with us that Bill Belichick will soon be the losingest coach in the NFL. And he was making a point around the greats, the greatest athletes of all time, have all lost more than they've won.
Whoa.
Like in their careers, right?
But we don't remember.
But we don't think about what it takes to actually win,
so good.
right? Like you even think about like the NBA championship or the Super Bowl. There's only one team that wins. That means every other team lost. That means all those guys on all those teams lost.
Yeah. And if you're gonna win more than anyone, you probably also have to lose more than anyone.
Yes.
So good.
And it's a very powerful concept that I think in order to operate as a creator, I actually think you should study athletes because they deal with failure all the time. And they deal with reps, right? Just like doing it over and over and over again and failing regularly, but that being a part of the game,
Yes.
right? Like if you're playing football, the other team's going to score.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
So
and
good.
you might lose a game. But it's like a long season and then it's a long career and it's like you just have to zoom out and go, I'm in it. That means I'm going to lose.
Yes.
Right? Like that's part of the push-pull of this thing. So yeah, that's a realization that takes time because the 10 out of 10s early on feel like I don't even know how to communicate how they feel. Like they feel like someone is calling you, laughing at you and being like, you thought you could do this? Good try. Pack your bags and just leave the country, man. Is that what it felt like for you?
Oh,
No.
yeah. Not me, dude. Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Speak for yourself.
leave the writing to Colin, man.
No, it totally felt like that. I think especially thinking like, oh, no, the answer is just spend more time editing. Like spend more money in the attempt or the creation of the thing. And like, oh, that will do it. I remember the first few times I spent money on like a YouTube video, I was like, this is it. I just spent $100 on a prop. Like the thought of that before just felt so mind blowing that the thought of spending any money was like, that'll do it. And then it doesn't. And then the failure stings more. And it's like, wait, I'm like trying harder than I've ever tried at anything. Like, yeah, it's going to sting.
Yeah.
Oh. So the second you feel any return from YouTube saying like, hey, I think I kind of love you too. It's like, me? Really? You know what I mean?
That's funny.
It's a crazy feeling. What was that like for you guys? Like when was the first feeling of like YouTube is starting to love us back?
I think it was very slow.
Yeah.
It was very slow. I don't know if it was like an immediate feeling, but I will say that like once prominent creators started reaching out to us, like
I would say 2021, right? When we started doing the podcast on the main channel.
Okay.
And MKBHD said he would come on the show, Mr. Beast.
I mean, earlier than that, I think getting a Twitter DM from Mr. Beast being like, hey, you guys are making cool videos. It was like,
that was validating.
whoa,
big time.
But
that's
that wasn't,
validation.
I don't think that was even YouTube loving us back. That was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. It's people are watching that we're talking about who are involved in this industry. They like what we're doing.
Yes.
But YouTube's not loving us back to a place where this is a career.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's nice that some people are watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I was trying to think back when I first subscribed to you guys and I like mapped out the whole thing. I was like, wait, when was this? Casey Neistat was uploading daily.
Yeah.
Jack Coyne quits,
Yeah.
gets fired from Beam.
Beam, yeah.
Yeah.
He makes a video. His next video was with you guys.
That's right. We went on a road trip. Yeah.
And then you guys went on a road trip.
Yeah.
I watched that video back yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And it was 6 years ago. I subscribed in that moment. And it's been so cool for me, just like fly on the wall, watching your journey from then till now. And man, it's like, it's crazy, dude. Like for me, trying to become a YouTuber, your channel has served as YouTube University in a way. Like I've learned so much from you guys that has got me to where I am to some degree. And I just want to say thanks, because I think I speak for a lot of people that look at your channel as a place of like, oh, like these guys get it and they're rooting for me and like giving me free education on their understanding of YouTube and like how I could do what they're doing. And yeah, it's just, you guys have done a lot for me and just so many other YouTubers. So I just wanted to say
Appreciate
thanks.
that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We always say we're making the resource that we wish we had 10 years ago. The resource is between our newsletter, our channel, now our education. Like these are the resources I wish I had. But I also think that too many resources at times maybe can be not allow you to develop your own voice.
Yes.
Right? Like you might follow too much of what is going on.
Yes.
So like your advice to other creators in this moment where they have access at their fingertips to all the information on how to build a YouTube channel, how to make a great thumbnail, how to craft a great intro, how to build a business, like all the above. Like how have you navigated your relationship with the amount of information that's there versus like finding your own way?
It's really good. I think the education, the information is so important for you to understand the video game that you are playing. Because if you don't know the rules, you can't play the game.
Yes.
It's so important. And I think in the beginning, I didn't believe that it was a game. I remember someone came on here and said that YouTube is a video game. Who said that?
Who was that?
Was that
Was
Ryan?
it Tommy?
No, it's Tommy in it.
Oh, Tommy in it.
Yes.
Yes. Tommy in it. Yes.
And I remember him saying that and just like opened my mind.
Yeah.
And so I think the information and the education helps you understand the constraints that you do need to operate within to some degree. This is kind of how I've looked at it. But I think if you do want your channel to spark, to stand out amongst the rest, it is a challenging thing watching too much of the big ones, the big guys that are doing, or girls doing like huge things on YouTube, because it's supernatural to be like influenced by them and then making a copy of those videos to some degree. So yeah, I think it's so important to, if anything, just like look at your video once it's edited and think, does this feel different? Like, is there something that feels different here compared to people I'm influenced by? Yeah.
What's your perception of the rules of the video game? Like, what do you think the rules are of the video game?
Right now, and I'm new to the video game, so I probably don't have like the best understanding, but when I think about the rules, the big rules for me are title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds, open loop concept. That is the video game for me. And then setting up a story where you want to watch till the end. And it's interesting enough that it's like, wait, I have to click. I have to close that loop by clicking the video. I watch the first 30 seconds. I have to close that loop by getting to the end of the video. For me, I think those are my most important rules that I look at on YouTube, that I don't know if I knew as well in the beginning. And the more I've leaned into them, the more success I have seen on the channel. Does that answer the question?
Is there a rule that you think it's okay to break? A rule that people talk about that you, from experience, go, I think I broke that rule and it's okay.
Yeah. I feel like some of the stuff we're talking about of like ending with failure, that in the beginning, I would not have had the confidence to attempt that. But I think from beginning till now, you take risks along the way, and then you're taking notes as, okay, that was like a risk. Collecting data. Oh, never take that risk again. Got it. Okay, took another risk. Yeah. Oh, that one, there was more of a response there. I remember the first song I ever did was for the Jetpack video. Huge risk. In my head, I'm like, I can't make music for a YouTube video. That breaks the rules. Like it completely broke the rules in my head. Sent it to my friend Daniel, and I didn't give him any context. I just sent him the whole edit. And he was like, this is the first thing he said, dude, that song in the middle, where did that come from? I love that. And then the comments were very affirming of like, that was weird and fun, and we liked the song. So collecting data, okay, that I will try that again. And yeah. Other rules, those are a few I think of like off the rip. The song thing, if you would have told me when I started that I would be singing into my USB microphone in my office, like making music, and I would have laughed in your face. I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah.
But I think it's only come from like slowly building the confidence to take more risks and feel like I'm comfortable looking dumb. If you're not comfortable failing publicly, it is so important in this weird job we have.
Yeah. Can you explain further like how you open loops? And I heard a really good like we use that term unclosed loop a lot, and I think I heard Jay Alto describe this on his channel, but he said like described it as an information gap. The gap between what you presently know and what you want to know is the information gap. And I was like, okay, that's a good explanation of what an unclosed loop is. It's like you know something and you want to know something, and that is the gap between the circle of the loop, right? You want to close it, right? You want to make sure that closes because now you want to know something. It's a really simple way of describing it, but I think it is one of the rules of the game that you have to abide by. And that's also just a rule of the storytelling game, right? Like that is
you
just,
always need to be introducing new unclosed loops.
Otherwise there's like, if there's no gap between what I presently know and what I want to know, then the story is over.
There's no story.
Because I've gotten everything I want to know.
Yes.
So that basically the simplest form of it, in my opinion, is like right now in the story, is there something that I am waiting to know? Right? That's it. Like
Totally.
It's just like, but you have to actually do that prior to the story starting on YouTube with your thumbnail, right?
Yes.
So is that how do you describe or how do you think about creating unclosed loops? And then specifically, like for me, if I'm talking to someone who's brand new to YouTube and I'm trying to explain the rules of the game, the first thing I'm saying is like the whole thing is title, thumbnail first.
Yes.
It's idea, title, thumbnail.
Yes.
Then we can talk about the rest. But like the whole thing, if we're not thinking about that, then you're actually not even playing the game.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, title, thumbnail, fitting in an open loop structure is a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize like title, thumbnail needs to be easily understood. I think in the beginning, I would have these like just really complex, fun video ideas, but they didn't fit within a visual image or title that could be communicated in so many characters. And I would get so frustrated. I'm like, wow, but the video is gonna be great. Like that would be so fun if I did X, Y, or Z. And yeah, I think realizing that the open loop concept plays to that, but it also, the thumbnail has to be, it needs to be an open loop, but it also needs to be easily understood was like a big thing I had to learn in the beginning. But then making an open loop that someone cares about, I feel like I'm still figuring that out. You know, I think I'm still learning and experimenting and trying different things. So I feel like the only way to really understand if it's an intriguing one is either by looking on the platform, seeing how other people are doing it. There's a bunch of railroad go-kart YouTube content.
Right.
So when I saw that, I was like, I've always wanted to do that. It performs on YouTube. Huge check for me. And so that confirms, there is an open loop here. I can confirm it with how YouTube has served this before.
Okay.
So then if I do it my way, now that we're in the video, that has been the whole experimentation of me saying I love bridges and hoping that you also want to see this old bridge and there's so much experimentation that comes with that.
I was going to say that's like there's the affirmation across YouTube that railroad go-karts work. That's the first unclosed loop.
Yep.
That, okay, this is worth maybe committing my time to. Then when you get in the video, seeing the bridge is another one. Okay, I want to see him see the bridge.
Yeah.
But then there's the next layer of conical wheels in the first one, right? Which is like something I didn't even really understand what it was at the start.
Yeah.
But you learned it from the comments, from people saying,
Yes.
it looks like you bought the wrong wheel.
Right.
And then we learned that you're about to go on this journey with what may be the wrong wheel. And that's the next unclosed loop that gets us like another minute or two into the
Yes,
video.
that's a good point.
And there's a lot of examples like that where it's like these mini unclosed loops that bring us throughout the entire 12 minutes. I think that's what's important for creators is like you got to have the unclosed loop in the title thumbnail, but then within you need to be introducing new ones.
It's like conflict points.
Yeah.
So like
conflict
when
points.
I'm shooting a video, I'm like, I am taking mental notes of like, oh, that's a conflict point. Like when I did the mini houseboat build.
Yeah.
When we got into the water and it started taking on water,
Yeah.
I'm like, huge conflict point. Huge conflict point.
But you're living in danger then.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't ever do this.
Yeah.
Don't.
So wait, hold on. You're living in danger in that moment, but you're like, this is a good conflict point.
It's crazy. I was definitely thinking about it. And it's like we're making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So it's just like in the back of my head, like, okay, that's
Pretty good.
And so in the edit, I'm like, oh, I remember I lived this. That was a big conflict point. So like, how do I sprinkle that into the story to lead up to the moment of us taking on water and make you care? So in my edit, I basically ask through song, will the boat float?
Will the boat float? Will the boat float? Or will it sink? Will it sink?
Will the boat float?
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. I make a song and we hear that song like 4 times. Question that keeps coming up is, it's kind of annoying, but you the whole time you're like, is this boat gonna float? And that was also honestly something I thought about right when I picked it up. I was like, I really hope it does. And I actually didn't even want to test to see if the boat floated, just to have that for the moment and for that to be real.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
A lot of commitment to honesty. Like, a lot of commitment to honesty, which is great. But yeah, I love that. What you just said is like, okay, you go through an experience and you have a conflict point. Then as you're editing, you're constantly building up to that conflict point so that the audience is prepped for the conflict point.
Yep.
And how you did that is through a song, a comical song that is a jingle that sticks in people's minds. It's like, oh yeah, will this boat float? Oh, it won't, right? Like that is a really great misdirection again of like, yeah, that's really good.
Just like any story.
Yeah.
Like the big conflict point, you care about that mission because of so many touch points throughout the plot.
Yeah.
And that house song.
You did that with the jetpack of if it will get through TSA.
Oh,
Was that right? Yeah.
Yes. I was so unsure.
But it did get through TSA, which was
did.
great. Yeah.
It did.
But that was another funny thing to like just introduce a new loop for us of like, okay, I already know you built it, but now what I don't know is if it'll get through TSA.
Yes,
and you're introducing that through song.
Right.
That's your most watched video, the first jetpack video.
Yes.
When you look at that title thumbnail, and we can pull it up if you want to look at it, but what is the unclosed loop that earns the click at 4 million people there?
I think there's something satisfying about seeing the image and realizing like, wait, this isn't like some photoshopped thing. This is actually on his back. Then you click it and you're immediately seeing me going through the ocean.
Yeah.
and then you see a shark, and it's like, now that intro also kind of breaks YouTube rules for me. I don't say anything for the first 9 seconds. It's just montage with like dramatic Star Wars type of music. Bum, 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 bum. And it's like, oh, drama. Where am I going? Sharks. And then it starts. And it's like, I'm going to build a jetpack thing and whatever. And there is something satisfying about like, oh, there's visual confirmation that he's going to build it. It's going to take him through the water very fast. There's going to be sharks. And now we're at the beginning of him saying that he doesn't know how to do it, doesn't feel like he's the guy to build it, but maybe he can. But you just saw that it worked. And there's something, if I'm watching, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't wait. Like, how do you get there?
Yeah.
How do you finish?
You make
know?
the gap seem even wider with those
Yes.
first lines of VO. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the guy to do this. It sounds really hard. And all of a sudden, the unclosed loop gets bigger and bigger and
Yes,
bigger.
which is the truth. I don't, it's like so real when I'm,
Yeah.
But now you can weld, so you can't say the
that's
same
true.
things.
That's
Yeah,
true. I
yeah.
can weld things now.
Yeah.
I will say though, what you just said is really important. You said that like, because it's not a photoshopped image, it's more interesting to click on, right?
Yes,
so again,
yes.
like we continuously come back to this world of honesty, where it's like if that's the honest image, and it's you with a jetpack on, it's inherently interesting. You don't have to go any further.
Totally.
Here's a guy
100%.
with a jetpack on his back.
I'm in.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
But that simplicity of like, if the thing you did is honestly interesting,
Yes.
then you can earn a click.
It's hard to do, but I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend trying to keep that authenticity in the
Yeah.
photo. Like even your Tesla Cybertruck review video, it looks like that would be a photoshopped image,
And then it opens with that.
but it's
moment.
actually
Yeah.
a real image
Yeah.
that you went
Yes.
through, and you drove through water with that
was so awesome.
Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I think that's key if your audience begins to understand that culture of this, for the most part, is the real image.
That's great. Yeah,
know?
I love that.
Outside of Eric, because obviously you know experiencing that with Eric of him like going through that rise, but like what gave you what gave you the impetus for YouTube, or were you a YouTube viewer prior to that? And if so, what were you watching, and what do you feel like your channel is an amalgamation of?
Okay. I was watching a lot for a long time. Casey Neistat,
Yeah.
like everyone, I was so
I
impacted
actually
by
think
him.
that's when Colin said Ryan Trahan, Bo Burnham. I think your building series has a lot of Casey in it.
Oh, cool.
Right? Like, do you remember when he made the penny board suitcase?
Yes.
There was I could watch that video over and over and over again.
100%.
Like it was just watching him build is one of the most. It's so fun. So anyway, I just
Yes.
want to add that to the
Watching Casey Neistat when he was uploading daily.
Yep.
I was unemployed at the time, so I really enjoyed.
Sure.
Had a lot of time for those daily vlogs.
A lot of time.
yeah,
And I would look forward to them. And I ended up starting my YouTube channel right after I graduated from college. I bought the camera that Casey told me to buy, and I started a YouTube channel.
Which was
Which was
the Canon 80D.
I didn't get the ADD. I think I ended up getting like a cheaper version of it. Maybe it was like the T7i or one of those. And like the super wide lens and like all of that was so exciting. I have family that lives in Sydney, and they were about to have their second child, and asked me as like a graduation gift from college. They said they would pay for my flight, like one-way ticket to Sydney, and if I would watch their oldest boy for like a few days while they were in labor in the hospital. And I was like, I guess that means I'm starting a YouTube channel, because I'm going to go around Australia and
Because your boy's a travel creator.
and I could never use my last name in my handle on a YouTube channel, which is where PrestonGoes came from. I'm like, if I'm a travel creator, I need to like have a travel name.
Yeah. Of course.
PrestonGoes. I was like, oh, it's so good. It's going to be great. And then very quickly realized that like making travel videos while you're traveling is that's the hardest thing in the world.
Also, that have like no concept. If you don't like concept them out, like we tried vlogging, it's miserable. If you don't concept them out, it's just like I'm like living and trying to find a story at the same time. And like, is any of this interesting? And it's not. Most of it is not.
Right. And I ended up backpacking through Southeast Asia in that trip and probably made 3 videos in like a 6-month period.
Sure.
Which was dramatically lower than I would have assumed. I thought I'd upload like 100 videos.
Yeah.
So in that time, I'm watching a lot of Casey Neistat. I'm watching a lot of Rory Kramer. He's a video guy. Toured with Chainsmokers, Justin Bieber.
Had his own MTV show.
Yeah, it wasn't until Eric made it his full-time thing where I realized, oh, this could be a job.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny now looking back. I literally wanted to make those videos traveling because I just thought, how cool would it be for me to have a video where I was like in Vietnam? That sounded awesome. Like, I want that video. There was never like dollars connected to it.
Sure.
So it is interesting seeing how YouTube's evolved now, and it's so much more like business.
Yeah. Now that it is a job, what does the job look like for you? Who do you work with? What do you do? Like, what does the job of being Preston Goes look like? Especially if you're not going to Australia and Southeast Asia anymore.
It's more Preston stays.
Yeah, Preston sits. Preston ponders.
I have a second channel handle just in case called Preston Went.
That's hilarious.
Preston stays is probably better, actually.
Don't do the second channel yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to have it. I just wanted to have it.
You need it. Yeah. You need it. You'll get there.
Yeah.
1 year. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, 1 year. Yeah.
Preston stays. The business, was that the question?
Yeah, what does the job look like for you? Like, do you have people that work with you? What do you do?
Right now, I am just starting to like figure out how to work with more people. So I have been like contracting editors to basically get like a really solid rough cut for me. And that's been like the only thing I've really hired so far. So I'll send them all the footage, get in a call, walk through the story. So they'll like take out notes and I will tell them the entire story of me taking a train from Vancouver to, or Toronto to Vancouver. And then they'll send me back a cut and then I will jump in. I love editing. It is my favorite part. I think I like editing more than I like actually shooting the videos because that's when it like comes to life. And something so simple can all of a sudden turn into like a huge laugh or like an emotional moment. So, but I also realized like in order to make more videos, I just need help editing. So I'm in the process of finding a full-time editor and I guess a full-time producer, like the whole Ryan Trahan model, Max Fosh model of like shooter, editor, producer, lean team, I think is like the vision for me. Right now, it's just me and like some contracted editors, but I think that's kind of the vision that I have.
What do you hope that brings you? Like bringing on a full-time editor and a full-time producer?
Having some more time to like hang out with my wife.
Yeah.
You know, these past few years have been a grind. Just saying no to so much, dude. Like so much.
Meaning like socially?
Yeah.
And that married guy YouTube, totally different than single guy YouTube.
Yeah.
It feels extra irrational.
Yeah. I would love to talk about that.
Please, I need to keep working on my failing thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry I can't go to Becky's baby shower. I need to edit this video.
I'm on the hunt for 10,000 views this time.
Do you guys have any advice for me as a married YouTuber? Like, I'm figuring it out as I go, but like, do you have any words around that?
Oh man,
I just got married on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
I think
maybe you should go first.
Yeah, married guy YouTube is.
Look, I've been married for 72 hours, and no, actually, I don't. Yeah,
it's so
Samir,
hard because it's like completely irrational. All of it is irrational, you know. And like, I think all it is like sitting down with your partner and explaining like what it is about you that like this thing fills up that like you need it. Why do you need it? Because explaining it as a job then doesn't make sense. I remember like in my late 20s, someone was asking me what I was doing over the weekend. I was like, oh, I got to edit a video. And they're like, dude, I'm so sorry you have to work over the weekend. And I was like, wait, no.
I like this.
This is the fun. Like what I do is fun.
Right.
I enjoy it. And I run into that quite a bit. I think that was early on in my relationship was like, she would be like, God, it's such a bummer you have to work so much. And I was like, oh, I need to explain this to you in a way that's like totally reframes your understanding of someone's relationship to work. Because my relationship to work is like, it's almost like, I've had to work on this for a long time, but it's like one with my own identity, right? Like the thing I am crafting on a daily basis, this company, this brand, this channel, like it is a part of me.
Yeah.
And so it's a thing that I, on a daily basis, it's more natural for me to work on it than it is for me to not work on it. And so when I am not working on it, that's work for me.
Yes.
The work is for me to go, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to go to Becky's baby shower. I'm going to be present there.
Yes.
I'm going to have a conversation with someone.
Yes.
And I'm sure to some people listening or watching this, they're like, that guy sounds like a crazy person. But I think a lot of creatives understand this, where it's like your mind is incredibly stimulated by bringing an idea to life.
It's the best.
And then everything else feels not as stimulating.
And YouTube's a bit self-indulgent, especially if it's your
Totally.
name and
Yeah.
you're in the videos.
Totally,
and
dude.
So yeah, it feels good when
Yeah.
you're making a video about yourself. It does well.
Yeah.
It feels like you're building something. It's exciting.
Totally.
But it does take you far from feeling normal at a baby shower. 100%.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're always kind of plugged in. There's always a part of your brain that's like
Yes.
on YouTube.
Yes.
Right. And so you have to like accept that part of you. That's like, okay, 10% of me 24 hours a day is in the algorithm. You know, it's like firing through ideas, firing through like, ooh, I could have changed that in that video. Or what if I made a video about that? Or, you know, oh, that's a good thumbnail idea. I got to write that down. Like there's like a part of you that's always there. So
When we got coffee a few weeks ago,
yeah.
you mentioned how April was going to be a big month for you and your family because your brother was getting married.
Yeah.
And how that was going to be like a slow time for the channel.
Yeah.
And I got home and I'm talking to Katie and I was like, explaining how inspired I was of like, wow, they are like trying their best to like acclimate into the world and do things that are important and like go to your brother's wedding. That's like an important thing that we need to do.
Totally.
But YouTube rewards the workaholic. YouTube celebrates the addicted person who's like constantly giving. But if we want to be athletes that play for a long time, I think you guys, it was inspiring for me to see that. It sounds like maybe there's another side.
I'm just laughing because I'm wondering.
We're laughing because we found a way to
how many videos did we put out in April?
We put out 4. Yeah, we found a way.
What? How did that? I was going to ask you how did that happen?
4.
You know, I don't know. We just found a way. I think we also have like. I also think that candidly, we're moving more in the direction of like I think when you're riddled with fear. What I mean by that, when I said that earlier in the conversation, when like our videos reeked of fear, it's like they are covered in strategy. It's like a chocolate covered almond, right? Where it's like,
keep going.
Right. Yeah. The chocolate is the strategy, right? And so you're
to
like,
get you to eat the almond.
You're like, I know this is an almond, but it's covered in chocolate, right? I don't know. Yeah. I'll leave that. Again, I'll leave the writing.
Let me ghostwrite that.
I'll leave the writing to Colin.
But I'll build that one out for you.
But over time, it's like there's like a level of honesty that just starts to come where you're like, oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, we got something to say. Let's turn on the camera and say it and then upload that. You know, and like, yeah, we'll add some punchy editing here and there, but like the thing we do is we're here to say some things, you know? Like, that's not that complicated.
Right.
It's not as complicated as your videos, you know? So, I think that's over time, you know, what used to stress us out of like, how are we going to get videos out when we're traveling? It's like, even we were just at breakfast this morning and Colin's gone for the month of June. And it's like, oh, well, like bring a camera and a mic with you. If we have a good idea, we'll figure it out, make a video, you know? And I think that, again, it's coming back to the world of like less fear, more honesty in your creative of like, it's okay.
And it's interesting how those new creative constraints can output new creative videos that your channel hasn't seen. As a viewer, the videos you guys have posted these past few weeks have felt so new and fresh and different. And to know that they are the result of like you guys having to think creatively of like, okay, how are we going to put out videos is encouraging, I think, for anyone listening, just because like it's affirming knowing that like new constraints can actually benefit
Right,
us
right.
versus hold us back
Yep.
and like stifle, you know?
I'm curious, with you being like relatively new to this being your job, like what do you think the job is? Like what's the job of being a YouTuber?
Yes. What is the job of being a YouTuber?
Like to make it work financially, what is the job?
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing comes down to uploading relatively consistently. And whatever that means, I think that's probably my biggest North Star of right now, because that's challenging when it's essentially like a one-man show with help here and there. But I guess the job, I define the job as like me doing fun things that I've always wanted to do. Right now, in the beginning, I would get so stressed, like crazy stressed, thinking so much about the chocolate on the outside of the almond,
Right.
if you will. And the strategy of it all just like paralyzing me. Like, and I remember in the beginning sending videos to my friends that watch YouTube videos, and they're like, I just don't know if I understand like 7 minutes of this. And I'm like, but I followed all the rules, you know?
Yeah.
And then being like so upset of like, I thought I was following the rules. And now realizing basically I wrote out, I have like a few little motivational things around my office, specifically from that beginning stage, your writing being one of them.
And now be the almond.
Be the almond.
Just
I'll
the
put that
almond.
up.
Just the almond.
Yeah, just
Okay,
the almond.
just the almond.
No
Yeah.
chocolate.
Hold the chocolate.
Hold the chocolate.
Okay, I'll put that up today.
The almond is good enough.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Be the almond.
Be the almond.
Carry on.
In that time, I wrote down really big, this is fun. And that has been such a funny, ironic motivator for me, because this job, it's very easy to forget it. And I think my favorite videos to watch are the ones where you can tell, like, wow, these guys, who's ever a part of this video, they're enjoying what's happening.
Totally. And the audience can tell.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think they can. And the fact that I have to remind myself,
Yeah.
hey, buddy, this is fun. I just smart.
But that's because it also is a job.
Yes.
It's also,
Yes.
as a married guy living in Los Angeles, it's also a source of financial stability, or you're hoping for it to become a source of financial stability.
big time.
So in that respect, like, what have you learned about how the financial side of YouTube works? And is it different from what you thought?
And are you the business-minded one? Is there someone else?
I'm not the business-minded one. So a lot of it is me figuring it out as I go. I'm not as comfortable in the business side of things, but I think I'm getting more comfortable. But right now, I feel like I'm just really starting to make real money out of all of it. And it has just been the craziest feeling.
And where's that coming from? Brand deals or from AdSense?
It's coming. Yeah, those are the only two.
Yeah.
And I've been able to do a handful of brand deals, which is a pretty crazy feeling after watching videos for a long time. And I always look forward to the day where I could say that this
video is sponsored by.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I was able to say that
Yeah.
this past year, and then I've been able to say it multiple times, which is a crazy feeling. And so that has been a chunk of the money, and then ad revenue as well. And
What percentage would you say each of them make up, if those are the two sources of income?
all of a sudden, ad revenue took way more.
Like AdSense.
AdSense.
Oh,
yes,
cool. Interesting.
yes.
Great.
YouTube's loving you back.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a very crazy thing.
That is, for a non-business minded creator, that is the best case scenario.
You don't talk to anybody. It just shows up.
It just is a magical check
Yes.
that shows up once a month.
And to see the catalog slowly start to, like, older videos
Right.
making
Right.
like money every month.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
It's crazy. It's crazy because you're like, I invested so much time in that video and now it's paying me back.
dude,
What is going on?
it's
Yeah,
an
a
insane
it's a crazy
feeling,
feeling.
especially as someone who, like, video has been my job
Sure.
forever as an adult.
Right.
I was in an agency making videos for brands in Atlanta with some great people. And then I toured with a musician for like 2 years doing all of her social media stuff. So like Instagram, YouTube, etc. And all of those videos would basically, we'd post them, they'd get a few thousand views, and then it's done. I'd get my paycheck and it's over. So for me to all of a sudden like have passive income coming from creative things that I made, dude.
Yeah,
it
wild
is-
feeling.
Oh, it is the craziest.
And-
it's the craziest feeling.
Do you remember your first AdSense check where you looked at it and you were like, oh my God, this is real?
The first one I guess came from like YouTube Shorts.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Was it from YouTube Shorts? I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
Do you remember the amount of like, this check means now that this actually is becoming my career?
There's one check that came in from the Railroad Go-Kart Round 2 video that I think that was probably the first time where I'm like, oh, this is a different, like, that's the first one where I was like, I'm playing a different game here. And so, yeah, I looked at Katie, I was like, we're going on vacation. So we went to Mexico City. This is like the first time we've been on vacation after so many, like I was saying, just saying no to so many things and like moving to a new city. She's making all these friends. I'm not making friends. I'm having a fun time, making a video, and then sitting alone night after night. So to be like, hey, I think we can like go on a vacation, and like we need that, like for our marriage. Like I want to be able to take her on things, and to not be able to do that for a long time, just hard, dude. With this like dream and
There's nothing worse than being together but not present. And that can happen a lot,
dude,
when you're working on a YouTube channel out of your house, right? Is you're there, but you're not the same partner as if you were working a job that ended at 5 p.m. and just for free.
I think that's the hard part, is the frustration, I think, with that of like, I wish you could just come home. When your partner, you can feel it on your partner, or they say it. Like, I wish you could just come home and be here.
Yeah.
But like the post 5 p.m. is also like, that's prime edit time.
Yeah. 100%.
That's edit time. You know, like you're 5 to 2 a.m. is like, you're
locked in.
You're locked in. Yeah. And then you're like, you come down, you eat dinner, but you're like not there. You're you're still in a timeline. You're like, you know, it's Queen's gambiting the timeline around, you know, while you're eating. You're like,
just smiling. But you're somewhere else.
The older you get, you realize that's no place to be.
Yeah.
No,
Especially long term.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So vacation.
And how did
Vacation's good, man. I like vacation.
how did brand deals come to be, and how do they happen now? Like, especially with you not being necessarily business minded.
Yes.
Like, what was the first brand deal, and how did it come around?
So my channel got its pop this past summer.
Okay.
I made a song for Ryan Trahan's Penny series,
Right.
which he ended up using throughout the Penny series. It was a version of the outro song that he would use every time. I love the outro song. And I thought, that would be kind of funny if it had like dumb auto-tune lyrics to the song. I sent it to him again, just throwing spaghetti at the wall. I'd never done anything like that. And he thought it was so funny. And he was like, I'm going to use this. And then he used it, and I posted a video at the same time as his finale video. So this was the second time he'd done the series recently. 7 days abroad and stayed up all night, so stressed, zombie mode.
Yeah.
Katie's coming in and out. And just so unsure. I was like, I don't know. Like my luck, it's gonna sit right there at 3,000 views, and I'll learn something from it, I guess, and then move on to the next thing. And within like the first hour, it had like 100,000 views.
Wow.
And I hadn't slept, and
And you're just refreshing. Just give it to me.
This is crazy. We're screaming.
Yeah.
Katie, everything we've been working for, it's happening.
Katie's on Zillow, like immediately. Here we go. And we had friends over that just happened to be over that morning, and we're all screaming. And that was like the first time anything had ever like really gone, specifically in long form videos. And man, so to come back to your question, it was after that, a buddy of mine, Jake Carlini, connected me with his agency management company that sells brand deals. And Jake was very sweet and vouched for me. And he was like, I think this guy is going to make great YouTube videos on the channel. And I got on the phone with them, and they connected me with Shopify, and that was my first one. And for me, as like a consumer of YouTube, that felt insane because Shopify is the like brand that like Mr. Beast works with. And Ryan Trahan.
You don't need to explain what they do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And yet they're a sponsor of your videos. And that's really cool.
And that felt so crazy, dude.
What was the cop brand deal was that your first?
No, that wasn't the first one.
That wasn't the first one.
That wasn't the first
one.
one.
Okay, because that one is absolutely hilarious. That one's insane.
Thank you.
Like, that was crazy. Who was that guy? Was he an actor?
For context, for people that haven't watched this, the cops one. So this was the first railroad go-kart video. I'm so thankful that I get to do brand deals. I want the brand deals to be as good as possible.
Yes.
So I want them to be this funny, like moment in the video that you don't want to skip through, like you actually want to watch. And I thought it would be funny as we're driving into the desert to shoot the railroad go-kart video to get pulled over by the police. So we shoot this scene. I buy a cop outfit for my buddy Vic. He looks like an Italian cop with glasses. Like he looks like the police. And basically from there, I was like, what if basically it feels like, oh my gosh, from the viewer's perspective, he's being pulled over. This is getting serious. And then in unison, we both turn and look at the camera.
Because Shopify is an easy-to-use, all-in-one commerce platform.
And we did it. And then we did this whole song and dance.
The brand deal progresses over the time that he's getting arrested, and there's a song, and it is just like, and it fits perfectly into the story because you're driving and you really do believe he's getting pulled over.
I mean, in Go-Kart video number 2, there's also an unbelievable moment when you're trying to go through a tunnel and there's a sign that says, warning, don't trespass. Scan this QR code to watch a video before you go any further. And then it's like this like old school PSA style video. It's like beeping and you're like, oh wow, you can't go through. Like you get arrested. You're only allowed to be San Diego cops or like wildlife preservation. And then it says, or if you're a Shopify owner, you can go through this tunnel. And it breaks into song and it's so funny.
Guess I'm going through the tunnel, cause I got that Shopify stuff.
There's just something about the misdirection of those things.
Yeah. Your misdirection is really so good.
Well, I think it's just so fun. I think it takes what could be like this boring ad read and makes it feel like, oh, we're all in on this like little treat of and now the brand deal is
Elevated.
something that we're like enjoying.
And we want to comment about it and talk about it.
Dude, the comments around those brand deals specifically have been so positive.
Totally.
And people are saying like I like people say stuff like, I never watch brand deals all the way through and I couldn't look away. It's like so fun, like that type of thing. So such a compliment.
That's the thing is like, if I'm to split up and describe the job of being a creator, there's two sides of it. There's the creative side, which in my opinion, your job is to find content market fit, which is like what you want to make, what an audience wants to watch, and what the platform wants.
Right.
And as long as that stuff's checked, that's your job on the creative side. On the business side, your job is to be really clear about the audience you're building and then find brands who want access to that audience and you sell access to your audience, right? And you do that through brand integrations. So anyone who treats their brand integration as a like, okay, I just got to do this thing real quick and then back to my story. It's like, dude, that is your product. On the business side, that is the whole thing.
Yes.
You are selling access to your audience. And actually in like the broad scope of being a creator, your primary customer is your audience. and you are introducing a product to your audience.
Right.
If you don't do it in a way that they agree with or approve of, you might lose their trust across the board. And that's like the whole product you sell on the business side is your relationship with your audience, the trust they have in you, and your ability to sell access to them.
Right.
And there's a lot of permission there that's being granted from the audience. So they're like, yeah, Preston, you have permission to tell us about brands because you do it in a fun way and we enjoy it. And you do it in a way that's relevant to us. And you do it in a way that we are entertained by and that we enjoy. That permission then grows over time. And now more brands want to work with you because the experience of accessing the customer, accessing the audience is good. Yeah. And I think sometimes creators forget that that's the job. It's two sides. Like, yes, you need to upload as consistently as possible and you need to make great videos, but like the other side of the job is like you are part of, you are a marketer, you know?
Right.
If you're doing branding.
Right,
so there's a way to do them that's like a premium product and a way to do them that's not.
Yeah.
And so I think taking it really seriously is very important.
Yes.
How is this like a great part of the video?
Yeah.
How does the audience develop a relationship with this brand?
Yes. I think it's come more natural to me than I think I would have thought. And I think it connects to my time working at an agency making videos, like these types of videos for all types of like companies in Atlanta. And that was my job for a long time. So now to get to do that type of thing for me, where I'm like singing songs and stuff, it feels like it's so easy and so fun because of like how I'm getting to like distribute it. And I really look at it like it's an honor that I get to make YouTube videos, that brands are paying me to like be featured in the videos. So like I want to take it really seriously because this was not the case like very recently. You know? Yeah. So like I want to hold it all very like appreciative, like because I am, you know? And I agree with you. It's like people that have a lot of options on YouTube. So if you're like choosing to spend 10, 20 minutes with me, that's a lot of time. I want you to leave feeling like, oh man, like I can tell he enjoyed himself and like, and valued my time. And like maybe you think or feel better or like laugh a few times. That's what I want. I think that's what I want people to feel when they're watching the videos.
I remember because you were part of our first cohort of Creator Startup. And I remember when we had coffee, you had talked to me about the exercise that we do. That's this goal setting exercise where it almost feels comically elementary, but it's something that no creative does. And I find it to be so important where you like, how much does it cost to live where I want to live?
I remember doing it and thinking like, why do I have to do this? Like I almost didn't buy it at first. Yeah. And then I finished the worksheet. I'm like, I called Katie. Yeah. I'm like, Katie, this is like revolutionary stuff.
The revolutionary stuff is it's a math equation to add up like how much does it cost to live your dream life?
Yes. Yeah. And thinking forward.
Yes.
Like that's all it is. Yeah. It's like dreaming forward and then working backward, adding it up. And I think part of my answer was like being able to afford to live in LA. Yeah. Like it's an expensive place coming from Atlanta.
Sure.
So to like, I don't know where I found. I think it was by the beach, like Venice somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah. Some expensive house by the beach. I was like, that would be awesome. And like backtracking and adding up the number and realizing like, oh, maybe that's not as unattainable as it would have felt a long time ago. And so love the exercise. Love that exercise.
By the way, that coffee we had, there's nothing funnier to me than that whole situation of what happened.
So there
between Colin's wife, you and me. Okay, yeah, you tell the story.
So,
you want to tell it?
I would love to
you tell it. You tell it.
Samir hits me up. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to grab coffee with Samir. That's so fun. I'm going to go to a coffee shop I've never been to before. So I get there first and I'm looking at the menu and I look at the barista and I'm like, I'm hungry and I want to like get something that I'm not going to like embarrass myself and like put stuff all, I spill often. And so I introduced myself to this very nice barista. I'm like, hey, if you were to like order something here that like, if you're like a messy eater, like what, like myself, what would you pick? Cause I'm doing like a business meeting. And I've never said business meeting in my life, but that felt like the easiest context for someone I don't know to like understand.
Sure.
She gave me a great recommendation of the frittata. I've never had frittata. I think it was frittata.
It was your first frittata.
It was my first frittata. Love a good frittata. Big fan. We have a funny moment. She's like, yeah, frittata. Ha ha ha. Samir walks up. And then Samir and the barista like really look at each other. and then they're like kind of smirking at each other. And I'm like, what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. And then I quickly find out that that was your wife.
That's my wife.
And I had zero clue.
Yeah.
And then it made me feel even more silly because she's like, so this is the business meeting? This was the business
This is your
meeting?
big, it was pitched to me as you came up and you were like, what does a big boy like me order for a big business meeting?
I wasn't going to say that part.
Okay, that's the funny part,
That's the whole
Preston.
part.
That's the whole thing.
And
You
then-
said, what's a
and then
big
she
boy
didn't know
like
her-
me order for
I really
That's
say
the
that?
line. That you came up and you were like, what's a big boy like me order for a big business meeting? And she started laughing and was like, well, I guess if I were a big boy with a big business meeting, I would get the frittata.
I don't recall saying big boy, but it does sound like something I would
sounds like
say
something you would say.
to a stranger.
She said it to me and I said, that kind of sounds like Preston.
Too funny.
That is so
good.
funny. Great coffee, great frittata.
Great barista.
Great barista.
Greatest.
The best.
Yeah.
What is like tactically or functionally like a week in the life of PrestonGoes look like? Like what is the majority of your time spent on? Like what does this week look like for you?
It's flying to someplace, having some weird, unnecessary adventure, if you will. Coming back, getting into the edit, either sending that footage out to an editor that's been helping me, or just diving right in myself and then writing songs as I'm editing. I think a lot of my creative process happens in Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
Like I'm there, and that's when
Yep.
the story starts actually happening. It's crazy how much writing I've done since starting YouTube. Thought so much about writing and reading all these books on screenwriting, because that's what we're doing. Like we're writing for screens, and it's funny. Screenwriting for ever has been like movies and TV shows, but to think like, no, like I think we're screenwriters too. Like we're writing stories that are consumed on screens.
We are writers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are
And I don't
writers.
think I knew that we were writers. When I started, that was like, I just hadn't computed in my brain yet.
It's not a roadblock. It's the road.
It is the road. Gosh, it's so good, dude. You gotta write more. Do you do any other writing?
I wrote my vows.
You should have heard his
Yeah.
vows, man.
Yeah.
They were wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good.
Any? Oh, I don't know.
I'll share them with you later.
Okay, off camera, not
Yeah.
for you guys. Okay.
Yeah. But I agree with you. It is writing. It's
all
So
right.
much.
We talk about it even as we're writing shorts and TikToks and things. It's all made easier if we just take the time and write.
Yes.
Well, it's not even just made easier. It's like if you don't do it, you're not doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like if you don't sit down and write it out, you're not doing the
Our
thing.
hardest
Yeah.
videos have been the ones that we don't
You
write.
don't write. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's also why like vlogging was hard for us, because it was like what Casey did so well is he was writing in real time.
Yes.
He could write and live at the same time, which was like, I don't know how he did that.
That's a great point. That's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like so much of my writing happens once I sit down to edit, that if there is not a clear structure or storyline, that edit can take so long.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh wait, I'm writing something kind of like that happened, but like didn't, but like that whole process can be
Yeah.
an exhausting thing in the edit, I feel like.
What about shorts? How are you treating shorts right now? Because you have multiple shorts with over like 40 million views, one with like 77 million views.
Crazy.
And that short with 77 million views is like a perfect short.
Oh wow, thank you.
We were watching it and we were like, huh,
That's the perfect.
this is a perfect short. It's like you basically establish, you ask the question like, how do you sink in the Dead Sea, right? And it begins with that question, and then very quickly we're seeing the first attempt, which is you putting on a bunch of t-shirts and you don't sink. Then you try another thing, I think, with a rock, and then you get some Dead Sea water in your eye, which is funny, and now I'm in because I like
It hurts so bad.
because I think it's really funny. And then like you make this joke about how Mr. Beast cured your vision, and this like lady is like wiping a towel on your eye, and then you're like, well, maybe this amount of rocks, maybe this amount of rocks, maybe this amount of rocks, which is like the ladder system. The ladder system in a short is fantastic, right? Which another version of that would be like, here's 1 rubber band on a watermelon. Here's 10 rubber bands on a watermelon.
You have to see.
Here's
many does it
100
take
watermelon. Yeah.
until it bursts.
Yes. So like the ladder system is fantastic. How many of these does it take for this cool thing to happen? And you did that with the how do I sink in the Dead Sea. How do you think about shorts in comparison to long form? How are you prioritizing them? And how have they played into the growth of your channel?
So the first ever big views and subscribers all came from YouTube Shorts for me. So it was October of 2022. I was at Vid Summit in the crowd when you guys hit 1 million.
You were there.
What a moment.
Wow.
Like, yeah, just as a quick aside on that moment for me is like, if this all ended, I would just look back and be like, but that moment was awesome.
What a gift for you guys.
That moment was
Is
a
that
real
super cool?
gift, man. That was unexpected and like just one of the greatest moments.
It was so
ever.
cool.
Yeah.
So I'm in the crowd
Yeah.
crying. Oh,
Sure.
it was amazing. Oh, yeah. And at that time, I was having like my first ever short start to get views. And it was, I bought a Cybertruck remote control car and framed it in a way where it looked full size using forced perspective because I'd seen it in so many movies. I wanted to try it myself. And over those few days, that video went from like 200 views when I posted it to like 20 million views in a week or two. And my channel had never seen anything of like that of viewership wise. And I think my channel went from like 5,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in 2 weeks, just because of that short. And it was so exciting. I'm like, this is insane. I'm a YouTuber now. They sent me the plaque. I'm like, here we go. I upload a long form video the next week and it gets like 400 views or something. And I was like, I don't like that feeling at all.
What's happening? I have over 100,000 subscribers.
I'm a YouTuber now.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely realizing that shorts viewership and long form viewership, especially at the time before you could link stuff, didn't necessarily correlate. And if I'm being real, I think it was kind of hard for me because like long form YouTube videos, that's always been the dream. So to like, there was a version of it that almost felt like counterfeit views or something, which I don't know if that's fair to say because I think there's a lot of great creators that make shorts, TikToks, all of that. But that was not my goal. So I thought that was going to help assist me to get to the goal of long form viewership. And it didn't. And then over time, I started like being like upset at shorts of like, you wronged me or something.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
Not fair to innocent YouTube shorts. But over time, I felt myself like, man, I am a emotional person and maybe I shouldn't spend my time there because views and subscribers in general is an exciting hit.
Yeah.
And when you get that for the first time, you're naturally going to be like, oh, I should do that again and again. So the fear was like getting too locked in to the shorts and focusing more on the long form videos because that was my goal from the beginning. But now I think I'm getting to a point where me and shorts, we can hang again. And I need to get back into it. I went through a little like weird season with them.
I feel like I told you this. I feel like your songs would make great shorts, like original songs.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, those
I
are
should do
great
that.
shorts. Like, and like just a little bit of context, and then
Yes.
You know who I think has really mastered the short form version of long form videos is Max Fosh.
Bro.
He has
so
mastered that in a way that's like, those are standalone pieces that also make you want to watch the full piece. I don't know. Like he's just nailing those.
Can we just talk about how great Max Fosh is?
He's amazing. He's amazing.
He just flew me to London to be in one of his videos.
No way.
Wow.
So by the time this video's out,
Great.
it'll probably be out.
Oh, that's cool.
The coolest thing.
Have you been to London before?
I've been to London.
Okay.
What a cool thing.
Yeah,
man.
that's
So
awesome.
cool. So cool. So
Someone you admire from afar,
Yeah.
seeing your work, respecting you, and then you get
Dude.
to fly out and hang out with them and
he flew me
collaborate.
premium economy, which
Get
I'm
out.
like,
Get out.
goodness.
Honestly, on Delta?
yeah.
That's a
Premium
good
economy,
seat.
Max?
That's a good seat.
Max
also,
is a good guy.
Sounds like Max Fosh business is going well. Yeah. Premium economy.
There are so many other people who've
Yeah.
collaborated with Max that are like, he got premium economy.
Wait, he got.
I
I was in a middle seat.
I was in Comfort Plus. What's your next video? Because I imagine it'll be out.
Yeah.
By
Oh, nice.
by the time this comes out.
Are you familiar with recumbent bicycles?
Of course.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Are
lean
you
back.
really?
Yeah, it's the Delta One of bikes.
Recumbent?
Yeah, recumbent. Lying back.
So,
Lean
okay.
back
Okay.
like this.
Okay.
And
Understood.
you're biking. up.
Understood.
Yeah.
I've
see
seen it. I've seen it.
Old people usually
Yeah,
are
I've
riding
seen it. I've
these
seen it.
on the side of the road. I thought, how great would it be if you put a 420cc engine on the back of one of those? And it's by definition, a motorcycle by definition is a vehicle with two wheels powered by an engine with no pedals. So I make a, by definition, motorcycle. And I want to basically drive it over Mulholland Drive because it's like an iconic
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
motorcycle
It's
route.
an unnecessary invention with an
Yeah.
unnecessary adventure.
Yeah.
That's the combo.
Yes. So I just finished shooting that, and tomorrow and all next week I'll be editing.
Is the thumbnail done? And will you be the one to design it?
I have been doing my thumbnails recently, and it's almost done. I really, after spending some time with Ryan Trahan in Texas, the guy loves designing thumbnails.
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm like hearing him talk about it, I was like, you know what? If this is the most important, like we all believe it's the most important part of making YouTube videos.
Yes.
I should probably love it and get really good at it.
Yeah.
So sure, I could totally hire people to do that. And I think I will probably continue to here and there. But if it's the most important
Yes.
part, I should probably get really good at it. And it's been like a thing recently. I think I heard Jimmy talk about this on the last time you guys interviewed him, of like that reminder
Yes.
of saying, I love title thumbnails. I love title
Yeah.
thumbnails, and believe it because it's so important. And that has not been a natural thing for me as like a video maker.
Yeah.
That it's been like the hardest transition of like getting good at it and even enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, Colin's the one who does it on our side.
Oh, cool.
And like, I think we always we explored a few times, like, can we hire out and have some people? And like TKG has helped us make a couple thumbnails. And
Super
he's awesome.
talented.
He's a great designer. But I think like I would encourage every creator to make their own thumbnails. Or if you're in a duo, one of you needs to make the thumbnails
Yes.
because it is the whole thing.
Or at least know how to
least
do
know
it.
how.
Yeah, or at least know
yeah.
how. But I do think like hands-on keys making it is kind of like
Yes.
Yeah. I
then
believe
you
in
can
that.
have real conversations about videos,
Yeah.
you know? And like, I was thinking about this because we got a question from someone in our audience around like, as a one-man creator, what are the things you need to focus on? Because there's a lot of things to do as a creator
Yes.
between like negotiating brand deals, setting up the business, making the videos. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I think the thing you should not let go of the ideas and the packaging. That's like,
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And I thought about it as a car.
Oh. What?
Wow, this is the first time.
So
This
You're
is like,
so
this is like a
prepared.
stand-up
Yeah.
who's been going around, you know, and he's been testing it.
I can't wait. Let's hear
Yeah,
it.
here you go.
I said this to a few people in our studio, but I was like, okay, if your YouTube channel is a car, the ideas and the packaging of those ideas
Yep.
is the engine. That's the engine of the
Okay.
car.
Got it.
The revenue is the gas,
Okay.
and the post-production is the wheels.
Now let's take it a step further.
Yeah, covered in chocolate.
The more covered in chocolate, the more videos you make that start to do well, the more your library starts to take off.
Yeah.
The more mileage you get, out of the gas you put in.
That's right.
Oh, good. I like that. This is good. I like
We're
this a
workshopping
lot.
this right now. Yeah.
Be the almond.
Yeah. Be the almond. Yeah.
I'm in.
It is
Sign
the
me
road.
up.
Drive on the road.
It is the road.
But I really think like your job is to support the engine. Like you're working on the engine all day.
Yes.
Like you can get someone to adjust the tires and support the tires. You can get someone to fill it up with gas. But you're the one tweaking the engine. You're the one.
That's great.
Ideas and packaging. Like I think that is the thing you can never let go of.
So good.
And I think that that is actually the honest like future of the creator space. You know, of course, production is something I didn't mention there, but like production is to me that's like obvious. It's like if you're gonna make videos, you gotta film them.
Yeah.
It's
But
the chassis.
yeah, what?
The chassis. The main. Come on.
Dude,
chassis?
The chassis?
Right? You put like the main thing. There's no wheels on it. It's just the shape of the car. Like the.
Is that
The
right?
chassis?
Guys, give
we
me a second.
confirm
It's
chassis?
right?
We're getting
Chassis is
Unbelievable.
crazy.
My vocab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chassis is crazy.
Yeah.
What did he
So-
say before
I said
the
sullied. Before we started recording, I said,
what is
like,
he? His vocab
You don't want
is
to
going
sully your brand.
Crazy.
And both of you were like, what?
Big words guy.
Oh god,
I have a
it's
big
coming out of
words
nowhere.
Chassis. It's spelled CHASSIS. The base frame of a motor vehicle or other wheeled conveyance. A noun.
Chassis.
Whoa, that is crazy. Yeah, that was wild. Okay, well, anyway, what I
like
was
that.
saying is
That's a good word.
Good
Good job.
I think
You
my
should know that word.
I should.
my caution to you
Okay.
would be to overcomplicate that process. Like I would not overcomplicate your
great.
process. And I'm curious if you feel in this version of the creator economy any pressure to like build other businesses or like diversify your revenue or like make more video. Like what's the pressure you're feeling right now or the problems you're trying to solve as a creator?
I think the pressure I'm feeling is, excuse me, just trying to, probably the hiring process.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's money coming in now. I need help making videos. That just feels so outside of
Sure.
my comfort level. But I also understand that if I can figure it out, it will help the car go. And so I definitely feel internal pressure there of just like wanting to figure it out, wanting to hire and not knowing how and knowing it's going to be a process and it's hard. And so I have felt myself kind of like tiptoeing in.
Sure. I think hiring is the first part of that. The second part of that, if we go back to the car, you're in the driver's seat. All of a sudden now the car's full. And other people are also making suggestions on which way you should turn
Yeah.
and where you should go.
Yeah.
And I think that is also a big piece for a creative. That
Yeah.
a lot of creatives they work a lot better if they're the only ones in the car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a caution of like,
great.
yes, the hiring part is hard, but the harder part is management
Yeah.
when you're building a company.
Yeah.
Right.
Big time.
Especially like full-time employees. Now you're talking about like careers. Now you're talking about like growth. Now you're talking about their lives and what's happening in their worlds.
Right.
Connected to your YouTube channel, right? It's like a whole other element of mental space
Right.
that I do think that we're starting to see some of these creator companies go through really hard times. And I think part of it is because we were really building these like media companies and then recognizing like, wait, actually, YouTube was built for the creator, like the single creator. Yes, media companies can exist on here,
Yeah.
but only if you're that type of person.
It's great advice.
If a manager is going to help you hire, get a manager, even if it's more commission,
Yeah, it's great.
rather than an agent. Because an agent's there to help you sell, but they're not necessarily going to help you hire.
Right.
But a manager might take care of more stuff for you. Yeah, you're giving away more. But actually, I think we maybe undervalue our like personal time, mental space, and all of that in exchange for, revenue growth and some of the other levers. When actually, again, coming back to that exercise we do in creator startup of like goal setting, where you're like, wait, hold on. I'm actually making the kind of money I want to make.
Yeah.
Growth would be awesome because that's the game we're playing, right? That's awesome. Of course, we always want to grow, but at the expense of my own mental well-being or sanity, it's like, that's not That's not a trade I'm willing to make.
Right.
And I actually think it's always in entrepreneurship, it's positioned as a really noble trade. Like stay up all night, sleep in your office.
Yes.
Don't spend time with friends.
It is the celebrated YouTuber.
It's the celebrated YouTubers. Put everything back in. You know, push, growth at all costs.
Yeah.
But I actually think you have to evaluate your own version of that and being like, you know what, actually, yeah, I'll pay a little bit more so that I have more time with Katie.
Totally.
Right? Like that's
100%.
Sure, I'll give 5% more or 10% more.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
My advice to you is to not get too stiff and to realize that videos serve different purposes, which is something that Ryan Trahan told us as well. But I, as a fan of yours, I want to see you make a 45-minute adventure movie, like the Go-Kart video times 2, as much as I want to see you make the video you made a year ago where it's one take and it's just you sitting at your desk talking for 12 minutes about what it was like on YouTube. Like I value those videos very differently, but they both can exist on the same channel. So I think like don't get too stiff just because you are starting to find success. Like
I would
staying
love to
flexible.
ask you about that video in particular. So I want to make basically the year 2 update of my time on YouTube video. Being new to the algorithm and brand deals and all of that, I feel like I've heard outside sources telling me like, hey, you've got to be like very protective of views and make sure you ride like a consistent thing. But like in my head, I want to post that video, but then sometimes I wonder like, wait, am I allowed to? Like, would that hurt me?
But I think you're allowed to. You definitely are allowed to. And I would also urge you to think really seriously about the packaging. No different than if you were going on an adventure. You don't have the same leverage and the same tools because you're not going, you're going to be probably just sitting in your room. You don't have a realistic, image that is hyperbolic or crazy.
Yes.
But you have the title.
Yeah.
And you have potentially like you could hold a sign that says one word. Like there are still unclosed loops you can make.
That's good.
And we found success like that too with like sometimes we'll shoot videos in our car and they're 5 minutes long and we'll upload them to the main channel. Very different than a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
And the thumbnails are drastically different, but we still find a pretty good amount of viewership.
Where do you want to be in 1 year from now? Like where do you want this all to be?
In 1 year from now, I want to be a little more comfortable, like emotionally. I think me talking about all this stuff of like shifting from it's not working to it's working, to look out in a year of just feeling like more comfortable of just like what it feels like to post a 1 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10 and hiring and just like getting more like comfortable in that title of YouTuber. I would love that because I still feel kind of imposter syndrome and trying to break it. But what else? A year from now, I just want to make really fun videos, man. Like videos that the platform's not used to seeing, that I'm really proud of. I'm so proud of the stuff that has been posted on my channel recently, and not saying from like, oh, I'm awesome, but I put so much time and energy into them, and it feels good to just try hard and feel like, I've tried hard at these, and I feel they're on the wall now. My catalog here. In a year from now, continuing to make stuff that I think is dumb and fun and hopefully not too dumb. But yeah, I think that kind of answers the question. Maybe it doesn't.
No.
No, it is.
I'm kidding. That does. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, man. I really do believe that like you're at a position where everything you're doing, if you just keep doing it, you have the potential to like 10x all of it, which is really cool. Like it's very cool to sit with someone and recognize like, damn, you stay on this track. Like you're on your path right now. Cool. Like it's really cool. And it's been fun to watch you find it.
Yeah.
You know, that's been really fun. And it's going to be a year of like, still this year, it's going to go up and down. Like I think that's the caution is also like, don't believe that right now it's just everything's guaranteed. every time you come up with a new idea, you have to do the fundamentals of like, is the packaging good? Is the title good? Is the intro good? Are there unclosed loops? Was I being honest? Is this on brand for me? Like you have to go through those exact same checkpoints every time you upload until you decide to stop YouTube. Like there's no time where the platform forgives you for missing the fundamentals. And again, to make the comparison to an athlete, it's the same thing. It's like, if you just abandon the fundamentals, you're not going to play well.
It's great.
And I'll say, just know, no matter how hard it gets, you ever need a hammer?
You got one.
It's right here.
Yeah.
Right there, and it'll be right up there on that wall.
That means a ton.
Just waiting for you.
7 ounces, perfect, tiny hammer here at the Colin and Samir set.
Up on, right there.
I hope you never take it down. I hope it always stays.
Yep.
Everyone, this is a really important piece of
By the
set.
way,
That's a
good
real
idea.
hammer. It will hammer
Good
a nail.
idea for a plaque of like, hey, you're working hard. You're hammering away every day.
Who decided to put the hammer up?
That's probably me. Yeah. But I like it. I like the vibe of it.
I feel like after all this, it has to
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah.
This is like,
Of course.
This is like guys who like watch Casey Neistat and we're like, damn, that guy's got a cool studio. Look at all those tools. Hammer.
Maybe in the comments, let us know if you've also noticed this tiny hammer, because I feel like I've looked at it every time. And you're like, what?
But that's so great. How great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could start a building channel. Who knows?
Okay.
Anything could happen. Yeah.
You guys want to come on a building adventure?
I would
Actually,
love to.
yes.
Yeah.
I would love that. Yes. Please.
Could you handle it?
Yes.
Really?
Please include us in one of your adventures.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
They get a little squirrely sometimes.
I know,
we
but
know.
I'm looking for a little,
Squirrel.
little squirrel. Yeah.
I've never said squirrely before.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Preston. Thanks for coming on.
Wait.
And please, what?
Maybe to end,
Yeah. Okay.
we play the song one more time.
Yeah, play it one more time.
Yeah. Play one more time.
Yeah.
So you can really, really appreciate how weird the song is.
I just can't believe the speaker was in here.
Yeah.
Look at this piece of paper, now look at this roll of tape. Look at this tiny hammer, there's nothing here by mistake. But there's something here you can't ignore. If you've ever watched the show before, it's almost become a bit of lore. But could also be a song we adore.
I'm like practicing walking over in my office, and they'll do this. Did I get the words right?
Wow.
Bye. See ya.
Thanks, Preston.
Oh, man.